alert, black alert. We're gonna make a starship discovery today. I've made one before and I made a little video about it, but it wasn't a full tutorial, so if you want to know how to make one yourself, this is going to be great. Right, the wool I use is acrylic double knit yarn, just whatever colour you feel like using. I usually use grey for my starships. There's my Defiant. I've made the first discovery in grey as well, and it looks pretty good. I'm going to try this goldy colour just to see what it looks like. It's up to you, whatever colour you think is best for your own not Defiant, Discovery or Glen, whichever one you're making, crossfield class. So the hooks I'm using are 4.5mm and a 3mm for the fiddly little bits. And grab a nice sharp scissors for your wool snipping, and a yarn needle, which is very important because we're going to be making this in different sections and sewing them together. So you need to find a yarn needle and let's go. Or what does he say? Hit it! I don't know, what does Lorca say? Get it done, or something like that, isn't it? Black alert. So we're going to start with the 4.5mm hook, and we start by doing a slip knot. So hold your yarn like this, and over your first two fingers wrap it around and turn your fingers around and make an X like so. Grab it with your little finger. Okay, insert the hook in the bottom one and grab this direction, twisting your hook to pull that bit through, and pull it off your fingers and pull it tighter, not too tight, nice and secure. Alright, wrap your little finger like that and your index finger like that, so you're holding the wool like that so you can feed it through. Now this is, I always use US crochet terminology, so this is going to be in US terms. So first of all, we're going to chain 25. So yarn over like so, turn your hook around holding onto the tail, pull it through. That's a chain 1. So you're twisting your hook the whole time. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to just speed up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay. Now just keep a good bit of slack there. So when we have 25, make sure your chain is nice and straight, and you haven't done any wonky chains, wonky stitches. Just make sure they're all nice and straight. So we're going to go back the way we came, but we're going to be doing a row of double crochet. So we're going to skip the chain where your wool is coming out of, and we're going to skip the following chain, and into the next chain, yarn over. This is a double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook. It's going to be tricky. Insert your hook in there, so you have 3 loops. Yarn over again and pull it through that one. So 3 loops on your hook. So yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops. Just loosen it up if you can't get that in. Make sure you don't break the yarn on your way through. Yarn over again and pull it through the second 2. So that's a double crochet. So do it again, yarn over into the next stitch. Just watch where you're going. So if you can see, come on, focus, there we go. So we're going into the very next loop. Be careful not to go into the same one you just did a stitch in. On this first row, it's very tricky to get the hook in, but it's a bit easier if you already have a row of crochet done. So into a chain, it's always harder to do stitches. All right, yarn over and go into the next chain. Yarn over and pull it through. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. So you want to do that the whole way down the chain, and I'll meet you at the end. So you see I have reached the end of my row of double crochet, and it looks like a nice curve there. It's actually curving in on itself already. So this is going to be the very first inner ring of the saucer section of the USS Discovery. And we're going to make 2 pieces. So what you do at the end of the row is just snip the yarn, leave a good tail for sewing, and yarn over and pull that tail through and pull it into a knot. All right, so put that aside and start again. Do exactly the same thing. Slip knot, chain 25 and double crochet along the chain. So now I have 2 pieces identical. Right, so I should have left that tail a little bit longer. Right, I think we'll be okay. So take your first piece. Let's get that one out of the way. And let me see which one is longer. They're both pretty much the same. So thread your yarn needle and bring that over to make a ring. Now make sure you're touching this edge to the very first stitch of this edge. So it would be around here, the very top of the first, where you skipped the chains, I think that is. Oh no, wait, that would be this end. This is your last chain that you've done, okay? Your last double crochet. So just sew that in, and there's always a front and a back of crochet. This is the front. The back kind of looks like this. The stitches look different, so turn it over to the back. Ew. Right, that's a bit messy, right? Just put that back in there, and I'll do it this way. So just catch a loop and attach it to the opposite loop, and then get the bottom of the stitch and attach it to the bottom of that stitch. All right, so you got a circle. Now I am going to tie these 2 tails in a little knot, maybe a double knot just to make sure it doesn't get loose. Okay, and then staying on the back, making sure you're on the back, just feed that in through a couple of loops, and then again, and then snip that off, and do the same with this one. Just feed it in there to hide the tail, and again just to secure it, and snip. Now keep these tails, they will come in handy later on. We will be stuffing the nacelles, and this is the best way and the cheapest way because it's free, because that would be rubbish, and we're keeping it. Okay, right, that is the first ring. So do the same with the second one. Now when you have your second ring attached to itself, take your second tail, and before you do anything like snipping that off or anything, you're going to need that. And that's why I left the last one slightly longer. So we're going to use that second tail to attach these together. Now if you can, find where you joined this one and where you joined this one on the back of both of them. Put the backs together and make sure the joins are together, because that will be hidden later on if it doesn't look too tidy. Sometimes it looks fine, but just line it up there. Right, so it's like a little sandwich, and you're going to go from, you're on the bottom one, so go up through the top one and back down through the corresponding loops that are there. Now if you look at the stitches, there's 2 loops on the top of every stitch that you've done. I'm going through the closest loops, so I'm not going to take this loop, I'm going to take this loop. Right, that's the one I just did. I go on to the next one, so I take that loop and that loop, just to have it all neat and tidy and uniform all the way around. Right, so keep going, sewing the loops together. Now once you reach the end, you have to do also the inside. Now my tail wasn't long enough, so I have threaded a new piece of yarn here. So round we go again. Whoops, a daisy. Ah, come back. Here we are. And you usually would not have to put any stuffing in between the 2 sides of your rings, because doubling them up like this is actually fine for the width of the actual saucer rings. We will be stuffing the body a little bit, but that's just to take the floppiness out of it, because it is yarn, it's not, you know, metal or anything, so it will be floppy. I will show you what to do about that floppiness later on. So you reach the end, just do one more. As usual, just tie your tails, you know, maybe a double knot for this one, and push that in to the inside, snip it away, and then do the same with the other one. Just any old direction will do. Don't pull it too tight, you don't want to mush up your stitches. Right, keep your tails over there. There's your inner ring, looking splendid. And now we are going to work on the outer ring, which is the same, only bigger. Well, it's not exactly the same, there's an extra row. So slip knot and go back to the start if you forget how to do that, and I will talk you through. Right, this time we're chaining 50, twice the size of the last one, so come back when you've chained 50. Now this one is going to take you a little bit longer, so it's the same as the first row of your inner ring. So you're going to skip that one that your yarn is coming out of, and you're going to skip the next one beside that, go into the third one with a double crochet. And whoops, a daisy, that's hard. Right, 1, 2, 3. Twist the hook as you go. Pull, oops, pull through 2, not 3. Pull through 2 more. Right, double crochet the whole way along your chain, and then we're going to do something a bit different. So when you get to the end of your double crochet row, it's looking like this. You are going to chain 1. Now turn it around to the back, and you're going to do a half double crochet row all the way back. Now a half double crochet goes like this. We're going into the very first, going in here, into the very first space. You yarn over. This is like it starts off like a double crochet. You yarn over, insert your hook, pull through so that you have 3 loops. You yarn over again, and this time you go straight through all 3 loops. I'm going to do that again because I totally messed that up and I ended up going through the strand of wool. So we'll do that again. Yarn over, go into that space there and grab your yarn and pull it through. See, I was keeping a little bit too tight there in the first go, so that's why I messed up. Make sure you have a tiny little bit of slack. So yarn over again, loosen those up so you can go through. There we go, pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet in US terms. Yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull it through, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now this is where I'm going, into that little gap at the top right there under the 2 loops. Okay, so half double crochet your way along the entire row. Right, when you get to the end of that, snip that off and catch the yarn, catch the yarn, pull it through into a knot. So you can see the curve again. So you're going to attach that, you're going to make another one of these and do exactly what you did with the first one. Sew them together at the end and then attach them by both edges. And I am going to let you go and do that, and I'll meet you back when you've finished your second one and attached them together. Now, here we are. This is how it's looking at the moment. When you put your outer ring over your inner ring, if there is not that much of a gap for whatever reason, whether it's just the way your personal style of crochet is slightly at a higher tension or a lower tension, or whether your yarn is thicker or thinner, whatever the reason, if you don't have enough of a gap here, just give it a little pull, make the gap a little bit bigger, because we are going to be putting stitches there and there for little struts. But first we're going to work on the little ball that goes in the middle here. Now it is fiddly. Let me grab my yarn. It's a little bit fiddly. So this is where we switch to the 3mm crochet hook. Now a ball is a little bit different from just a straight row. There are a couple of ways to do it. If this way is looking too difficult, check out different methods of making a ball on YouTube. Just check them out and then come back to me, and it might be a little bit clearer to you. So we're going to do a magic ring. So make a loop like this with the tail on top like that, okay? Hold on to that crisscross. Insert your hook and grab that main strand and bring it into the circle. Then grab it again from the other side. Holding all this with your extra fingers, just hold it in place. Pull that hook through the loop that's on your hook like this. All right. Now, if you pull your small tail, that will change the width of this ring. So don't have it too loose. I think about here is good. So from here, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the ring to to make the first row of the ball. Single crochet is, don't yarn over. Instead, go straight into the ring. Hold on to your loose tail, because this is going to keep your ring nice and straight. Hold on to your loose tail like that. So, oops, that's getting too tight. Let me pull that open a little bit more. Right, straight into the ring. Come up and grab the main yarn. Pull that back through. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and sorry, this is where it's just a little bit hard to hold on to everything, but just do your best. So yarn over and pull that through the 2 loops, and you've done 1 single crochet. So go into the loop again for the second one, into the ring, grab the yarn and pull it through, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on your hook. So you've done 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, this is the magic part. Your loose tail, give that a pull, and the ring closes. Now, what do you do next? Well, you find the top of your very first single crochet. So there it is there. You can see the 2 loops, and just straight away insert your hook under the 2 loops, yarn over, pull that through, and keep going through the loop that was on your hook, and that is a slip stitch. Now at this point, I like to pull your tail nice and tight, turn it around onto the back and make a little knot so that is not going anywhere. Alright, so turn it back onto the front. Right, this row is going to be an increase row. So chain 1. Right, this is the bottom here is where your chain has come from. So this is the stitch where your chain has just come from. Ignore that. Go on to your next one. Single crochet into that stitch. And now single crochet again into the same stitch. Okay, so 2 single crochets in that stitch. Into your next one, just 1 single crochet. Into the next one, there's 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. 1 into the next one, and 2 into the last one. Okay. Now, did I do that right? Is that 2? Is that the last one? Looks like I have an extra one before I changed. So, okay, so 2, so 1 into the last one. Sorry about that. It does get confusing. Right. This is where you started off. Right. If my camera is losing focus, I do apologize. Right. So when you started off, this was your chain and this was your first stitch. So don't put this in the chain, put it into the first stitch here and slip stitch it to what is on your hook there. Now turn it, I push that out the way it's going, it's turning into a little ball. So we're going to chain 1 again. Now I am going to count, we're going to go around with a row of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'm going to count them out loud for you to know where we're at, okay? So skipping the one you just chained out of, went to the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so you have 9. When you get to the end, this is your chain. Don't go in there, go into your first stitch that you made and slip stitch that. All right, chain 1. This is a decrease row, and we are going to do it like this. So into the first stitch, insert your hook and yarn over and pull it through, and stop right there. Insert it into the next stitch, yarn over and pull it through. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull that very carefully through all 3. So we do it again. Insert your hook, yarn over and stop. Insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over and pull it through all 3. And we do it one more time. To the next 2 stitches, pull through all 3. So we can do it one more time, I think, yeah. Decrease, next one, so you're doing 2 stitches together, like that. Now it's getting a little bit harder to work. So when we get this far, I'm going to grab my other hook and I'm just going to push that tail in. Get in. Push it in there, and this is going to serve as stuffing for the ball. Okay, I'm going to just actually take off that one while I work. It's a little bit easier now. Just push that in, all the whole tail, and if you have a couple of scraps that you want to stuff in there as well, go ahead, just to give the ball a little bit of shape. For goodness sake, what's going on here? Right, I'm going to grab this pen and see if it's any easier with the... No. Yeah, this would be much easier if the camera wasn't rolling, of course. Yeah, so I'm just doing it with my finger now. Push the whole thing in, the whole tail in there, because I have quite a longish tail, so it's going to stuff that in nicely. Actually, stop there, because you do need a little bit of room to work as well to close it off. I'm going to put my hook back in where I was and just tighten that up. Okay, so that was my decrease row, and the next thing I'm going to do, if you're running out of space rapidly and you can't do any more decreases, move on to slip stitches. So insert the hook in the next stitch, and then if it's small enough you can go directly to the stitch opposite that one and just slip stitch it to close, and that pretty much closes the gap. So snip your yarn, leaving a bit of a tail for sewing, pull that yarn through to make a knot, and just shape it. It might be a little bit messy, but just shape it into a ball shape. And what did I do? Let's just make that a bit neater. And try and not split the yarn this time. Okay, right. If you want to put a little stitch there, if there's still a little bit of a gap, just tighten that up. Okay, so you have a little ball. Right, take your inner ring and whatever, if you have a messier side, leave that to the back. So whatever your front is, make sure the neat end of your ball is coming up through the front. Now, turn it to the back. And I have my tail here, and I'm just going to pick up little bits of the bottom of the ring and little bits of the bottom of the ball. And just go around and sew that on. Don't take up too much of the stitches of the ball because it will decrease the width of your ball, and then you won't have anything left. And it'll look a little bit messy. Ah, my camera is just rubbish, so stop unfocusing. Here we go. Actually, it's an excellent camera, I must say, but it does tend to lose focus. Well, that's probably because I'm not really looking at the screen, I'm looking at what I'm doing. Okay, we're nearly there. Oops, that's a bit too much. Oh, God, it does get stuck sometimes. Just be gentle. Just check the front to make sure it's still keeping a good shape. And you're not taking too much. You see, the bottom of the ball, because of those slip stitches, it tends to be a little bit flatter than the top. We're only worrying about the top, really. Now my yarn has come out again. So now check the top, looking good. So I'm going to just pick up a bit of that wool and make a knot. Pull that nice and tight, and I'm gonna just lose it in here. Just stick it through. And snip it. That looks good. I'll put it all together and you can see it is really coming along. So I'll take a break here and I will show you what to do next. Right, we are going to attach these together. So take a length of your yarn. Let's see. I would go with about 1.5 feet just to be safe. You can always use any extra for stuffing. It's not really a waste because you're using it. What am I doing? Right, so find the join here and find the other join. There it is. Right, line this up together. Now you're going to do a join, you're going to attach them with a couple of stitches in a kind of a crisscross shape. So wherever your join is, you're going to do it at 45 degrees from there. So the first one can be rough enough that it's the next ones you have to make them nice and symmetrical with your first one. So don't worry about the distance here, just approximate it. Now here we go. Leave a good tail for for tying at the end. Now it's good to do this with your needle if you can, just get an idea of your angle. So I'm going to go in here. Now I'm going to leave about that much without pulling that tight. So go back in to where you came from originally. Oops. Right, don't pull it too tight because you're going to ruin it, but pull it tight enough that you're leaving the same gap all the way around, and just go in a couple of times to make it nice and secure. I think I'm going to do one more. Sorry, just trying to get it back the same place. Make sure that's not getting knotty at the back as you pull it. Right, keep measuring it up and making sure you're not doing anything crazy. Right, so I've done three stitches. Now you're going to go directly opposite. This is the easiest and neatest way. So just measure it with your needle. So you're going to need to come out here. Just pop your nail there. Now, what I do is, okay, I will turn it around the back. I'm going to feed the needle into the middle of that ring and just come out at the side and go straight back in and feed it in. We're not coming out the other side, we're just going into the middle. All right, go back to your measuring. So I want to pop out there. So just try and, oh, I'm sorry if I'm going off screen. Just try and get your needle out where you want it. So that's what I do. Instead of tying, cutting threads and tying knots, it's just easier to keep your wool attached. Now, make sure again, line this up again. So going in here. Okay, now what I'm on the back here, aren't I? Yeah, so turn it around to the front. Oops. Okay, so leaving the same gap. Not pulling it too tight at all. A couple of times. Whoops, got a knot going on. Do it a couple of times. 2 or 3 will do it. One more. Okay. Turn it around the back and feed it again through. And this time you want halfway between the two. So try and have your needle pop out right there. And just use the wool or the needle or whatever you have to measure that you're going in a straight line. So this is looking good. Make sure you turn it around to the front so that you know that you're doing the front neatly. Okay. Okay, don't worry if the back is a tiny bit messier. Ow! Stick your needle in your finger. Okay, and in there now, just hold up a crochet hook or whatever. It's actually easier just to look at it. Okay. Now, that looks about right. Now, remember, don't pull that tight, just pull it. And after every time you put your needle in, make sure it's looking straight and you're not pulling it into a wonky shape. Okay, so there we go. That is our saucer section finished. Just tie in your loose end as you would usually do. Okay, now we are on to the main body of your work. So we are going to do a slip stitch and chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this is going to attach to the back of your ring, and it's going to go out in a triangle shape. So when you've chained 9, you're going to single crochet back along this row. So don't go into the first one where your yarn is coming through, go into the next one. So straight in, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Right, straight in, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Straight into the next one, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over and through 2 loops. So single crochet along this chain. And the first row into the chain is always the trickiest. After that, you're flying, more or less. And the last stitch. Okay, so that's a row of single crochet. Chain 1 and turn it to the back. Now you see the tail is on your right. Every time a tail is on your right, it's going to be an increase row. When the tail is on your left, it's going to be a single crochet row. So this is being an increase row. We are going to single crochet 2 stitches into the first stitch. And then continue on with just 1 single crochet in each stitch until we get to the last one. Oops, make sure you're going through 2 loops. Now, that's my last single crochet, and you can see there's still 1 more stitch left. So make sure you grab the 2 loops of that one and increase, so 2 single crochets in the last stitch. Now chain 1, turn it around, and the tail is on your left, so we're going to do a single crochet row all the way back on this one. So don't increase this one. Go into the first stitch, single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you should always have an even number of stitches. Chain 1, turn it around, and the next one is going to be an increase row. And you're going to continue on in that pattern. Increase when your tail is on the right, you do an increase row, flip it around and do a single crochet row. And you're going to keep going like that until you have 20 stitches. So do your last increase row where you increase to 20, flip it around and do a single crochet row, and then you stop. So here we are, I have increased to 20 stitches. Now I'm gonna, so you've chained, did I chain 1? No, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn it around. So you're on the side with the tail. Right, so now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn it around. Now you need to decrease because you're making a slanty line going that way. You're doing 2 little triangles. So, well, they're not exact triangles. So you've chained 1, so you're going to go into that stitch and pull the yarn through, and then you're going to go into the next stitch and pull the yarn through, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops, and then continue on the row as normal. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch till the end. And when we get to the end, you do your last stitch, then you chain 1 and turn it around and continue on single crocheting. So you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease the last 2. Okay, chain 1, turn it around, decrease the first 2. So you're decreasing on the same side of this triangle, and then continue on single crocheting to the end of that row. Okay, and whoa, going right in the middle of that strand, that's not good. Okay, that's better. And chain 1 and turn it around. So now single crochet 1, 2, 3, and decrease in the last 2. Like that. Chain 1, turn it around, decrease when you start off, and then single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn it around, 1 single crochet and decrease the last 2. Chain 1, turn it around, and you've got 2 left, so that's just a decrease. Okay, snip and pull through. This is what we have. All right, now we need to do the other side. So pick up my yarn that fell on the floor. So turn it around like this, and in the very first stitch here, insert your crochet hook. And pull that through, and then gather the 2 ends like that. So you've just looped it through. So start with your single crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn it around. Okay, and then start off with a decrease. and finish your single crochets to the end of that row. And be careful with the end one, just it's hard to get the hook in there where you started it off. Okay, chain one, turn it around, so you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease the last 2. So do those together like that. Chain 1, turn it around. Start off by decreasing. And then finish the row. Chain 1. Then 1, 2, 3. Decrease the last 2. Chain 1 and turn, and a decrease to start with. Then single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, decrease, oops, decrease, chain 1 and decrease, boom, snip and pull it through. Ah, yeah, now we're talking. So you need 2 of these again. You need 2 of most of the things you're making here. So this is going to go here. You can see the shape coming along. Right, so do this all over again and I'll meet you at the end of that. So I have done 2 of these and I have sewn in all the loose threads and I have sewn the edges together to here. Now grab all of those little threads you've been cutting off and we're going to stuff them in all the way down. Now you're going to need a bit more, so whatever you want to use for stuffing, you can buy toy stuffing or you might have something like this, which is all my rubbish from all my projects. I always pop it into this big roses tin for just such an occasion. Alright, so I'm going to grab some of that and stuff it in here. It's best, if you have time to sort it out, it's best to use colours that are similar to what you're using so they don't show through, but it's, the stitches are actually quite tight enough that you can't really see the colours through, so I'm just grabbing any old colours. Now you're not making a teddy bear, so don't make it too poofy. So you're going to just make sure it's all the way down. Alright, but not too big. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more in here. A few more strands. Now, so there's a good bit of air left in there. That's okay, just mush it around to make it all even. Yeah, that's about right. So you're going to be attaching it like this. So you just want to keep that stiff, that it's not flopping around. And sew it back up all the way closed. Right, and then I'll show you what to do. Alright, so that's sewn shut. Just mush it down a bit. Right, grab your saucer section. Make sure you're on the front, the top bit, and find where those joins were. Now, kind of slopes down a little bit in reality. So put the saucer on top, flip it to the back. You are going to sew this roughly in the middle of the outer ring there. Now again, I've run out of tails, so I have a brand new piece of yarn. I'm just attaching it on to the top here. Just maybe tie it a couple of knots to secure it on. Yeah, what am I doing? Don't know what I'm doing. How do I tie a knot again? What am I doing? Maybe I'll put that down. Okay. Now line that up so that join is in the middle. And just pick the stitches up like that. Don't go all the way through. Just pick them up. Now make sure these little stitches are nice and symmetrical as you're doing this. That is the most important part. So you're just picking up a loop and a loop and pulling it through. Just keep fixing that. Make sure it is straight. Yeah, nice and straight. And when we get to the end, just the last bit there, you'll see that it's kind of falling down. So I am going to put the needle all the way through the saucer or the ring, and I'm going to do the same here. Whoops, a daisy. Actually, I'm not going to do the same. I'm going to do it this way. Just picking it up a little bit because I don't want to lose the shape of the saucer by getting rid of that edge. So instead I'm going to go in. Instead of joining it like this, I'm going to go in here and just pick that up. It's up to you if you see it working a different way for you. Oh dear, go right ahead and do it like that. Right, let's see how we're getting on. Right, needs a couple more goes. Maybe just one. Okay, let's put that right through to the back again. All right. All right, saucer section is attached. Now, at the back, tie this off. Little knot. And sew it through anywhere you like and snip. And then I'm just quickly going to do this one as well. That's already tied. So just sew it through there, pull it out and snip. Okay. Next, before we go any further, I'm going to show you, where am I going? I'm going in my 3mm hook, and I'm going to do the little strip that goes all the way from here to here. So I'm going to slip knot. Oops, I got a hair stuck in there somewhere. Slip knot. Now, I don't remember how many chains to do. So I'm going to count along as I chain, and I'm going to measure as I go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's see. 20, I think, is enough. If you pull this tight enough, just pull it as tight as it goes and see if that reaches from the start of the ball to the very end here. And as soon as it reaches, stop chaining. Right, we're going to single crochet back. So skip that very first bit there and go into the next stitch straight away. And single crochet all the way down this little strip. And you might have a different amount of stitches depending on your tension. And if you're using different crochet hook sizes and different thicknesses of wool, your counts might be completely different to mine, but as long as your proportions are all correct, you should be grand. It might take practice, it might take a couple of goes, but try and follow the hook sizes and the yarn size, double knit yarn, and then everything will make sense. Right, once you crochet down to the end of that, snip off a good long tail for sewing. I don't even think that's long enough. I always cut my tails way too short. Now, thread your needle with the long tail. We're going to sew it this way. We're going to start let's see, which way will we start? I think we will start here. So, if you turn it around this way, make sure that is even and in the middle. So pop a stitch in there. Now you're going to have to fix this every time you do a stitch. Fix it up again, make sure you're in the middle. Now I'm actually going to hold mine in position. Is that in the middle? Okay. I'm going along one edge, in and out. Watching the fingers. Now pick it up maybe. In. Out. Try not to do it the stitches too big. Try and do them as small as you're able. Okay, fix it again. Now you'll see my join has somehow managed to be over here. Don't worry. It's fine. Yes, do make sure you're on the right side of make sure the good side of the ball is on this side. Oops, I have got too much there. Right. Okay, and the last bit in and out. And then I would even put that all the way through here, just to be neat and tidy, so that you can come back where you want. Focus. There we go. Now, that's straight. Yeah, nice and straight. So back again, the other side. When you get up to the gap here, just go through nothing. Just go through nothing to get your needle over here again. Yeah, looking good. The nacelles are probably the most tedious part of the project. Now just pull that tight so you're sewing it in the right place. Now I actually missed the end, so I'm just going to pick it up here and put it back through. Okay, there we go. All right, tie those ends, sew them through, and then we will get started on the last part. Okay, for the nacelles, we're back with our 3mm hook, and we are going to start with another magic ring. So make a little loop like this, hold on to the crisscross, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn again and pull it through your loop. So if you pull that tail a little bit and close that ring just small enough to work in, and just pull your main threads a little bit tighter, just so it's secure. So we're going to single crochet 6 into the ring again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pull that closed. Slip stitch into your first stitch under those 2 loops and pull it all the way through, and tie your little, pull that really tight and tie your knot just to keep that from opening up again. Okay, now we are going to do what we did for the ball, but instead of closing it up, we're going to keep going until it's long enough, and then it's going to taper off and get into a little point. So we chain 1, and into the next stitch make an increase. So 2 single crochets in there, then 1 single crochet in the next one, then 2 in the next one, and 1 single crochet in the next, 2 in the next, and I think we're left with 1 single crochet. Okay, now skip where you chained, which is here, and slip stitch, focus, yeah, slip stitch into the first single crochet you did. All right, now from now on you don't need to slip stitch, we're just going to keep going. So I'm going to chain 1 this time, the next time I am not. So just keep going around with single crochet, 1 single crochet stitch in every stitch, and you can use this finger to kind of push that into the shape you want, so you're just pushing it out into a dome shape. being careful not to catch your yarn on the way through. And when you get back to where you chained, where you slip stitched and chained, you insert your hook like you usually would do, but just don't slip stitch, just do a single crochet. And keep going. So there's no end of the row anymore. You're just single crocheting infinitely. There's no end until you decide it is long enough. So keep going like this and it will start turning into a tube shape. And I am going to keep going and I'm going to measure where I need to stop. So I think it's going to be from here, about here, to about here. And when we reach the middle-ish, we're going to start decreasing to make it taper off and get thinner. So I'm going to keep going single crocheting and I will come back when this is long enough to change to a decrease. So I have crocheted up to 8.5 centimeters, and before I start decreasing, I'm just going to pull that loop out a little bit. I am going to stuff this nacelle because I don't want it to be able to do this. I want to keep it nice and straight. So I will grab a bunch of scraps, and I have a nice thick crochet hook that I just found. This is a 5.5 mil. I'm just using it to stuff this all the way down. And again, I don't want it to be too stuffed that it's kind of turning into a teddy bear. But just enough to keep its shape. Okay, use a little bit more. You can do it strand by strand. It actually fills up quite quickly when you're using yarn. A little bit more. And don't stuff it too much because you have to keep crocheting, don't forget. I'm just stuffing this far because once it starts to decrease, it's really hard to get the wool all the way down there. So we're going to hook this up again. Get back in there. And decrease. So when you have reached 8.5 centimeters in length, and we start the decrease, so we're going to single crochet 2 together. So pull through the last 3 loops together, and then a normal single crochet. Oh, I wish this would focus. Oh, focus, right. Normal single crochet, and let's see, I think we will do another single crochet, and then 2 together, and then 1, 2, how are we getting on? And another decrease. Okay, let's see how this looks. I actually can't remember. Every time, I've made about 4 of these. Every time I do it, I cannot remember what I did. And I have written it down, but I don't know, it seems to change every time. Let's see, is this too thin? Or is it fine? Oops. What's it getting on there? I am not entirely happy with that. Let me rip that back a little bit. Now I'll take out the last decrease. I think that was the last one. No, wait. That was the first one. So I'll start again with the decrease row. So I'll do one decrease, and then one single crochet and two single crochet, and I'll do another decrease, and that should be enough because I did 3 the last time and I think it was too much. Right, so let's continue and see what that looks like. And even if you are following what I'm doing, it might look different in your case as well. So you just sometimes have to wing it a little bit. I think this is looking much better. Oopsie daisy. So it is actually getting trickier as the ring gets tighter. Now let's see what this is turning out like. I think this is going to be a little bit better. Right, I will continue and I will measure it when I am finished and let you know. Alright, so I have reached about 17 centimeters and I have stuffed the bit I just did, and now it's time to close it up. So we are going to decrease, it's getting very tricky, very tight to work up here. Another decrease, and I think we can fit in another decrease just about. Very carefully. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, there we go, I don't think I'm going to get around for another decrease, so I'm going to go straight into a slip stitch, and that's it, that's done. So snip a bit of yarn, pull that through and pick this up, sew it inside and make it disappear. Lather, rinse and repeat until you have 2 nacelles, and then it's time to sew them on. So I have 1 nacelle attached already, and I'm going to sew on the other one now. So just insert your yarn here and measure up where you're going to put the second one. Make sure they're aligned. If you want to use a ruler. Okay. Now, so just pick up a couple of loops there. Don't make the stitches too big because they'll be visible. Now, so if you are planning to frame this, the back doesn't have to be as neat. It could be as messy as you like, but if you're just leaving it loose, try and make it neat on both sides. take that extra little bit of time. And if you are going to frame it, the way I did it was I bought a little piece of canvas, a really cheap one, and I just sewed it on, straight through the canvas, and it just keeps it nice and secure. So we're nearly at the end. Just keep flipping it over, make sure you're not doing crazy mad stitches out the back. Now, there's a lot of sunshine. It wasn't that sunny this morning. And I'm just going to go back the way I came, a little bit more roughly, and just to make it really, really secure on there so it doesn't come loose. Yeah, that was the loose bit that I didn't even tie a knot in that. So that's why it's kind of just hanging there. So I'll just tie this. Whoops, a doodle. Just going to tie this onto the other end. And then just do this as usual. Sew that through and snip it off. And sew this through. And we're done. Just massage that down, just squish it into shape. Maybe your stuffing is uneven or it just needs a bit of reshaping. There we go, the discovery. So here is the finished product, and would you even know that's crochet? Isn't it amazing? Okay, here's my actual finished product. So there we go. Oh, I don't want to scrape that. There we go. Ready to go. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos. Subscribe to my page if you like what you see. And I will make some more nerdy projects in the very near future. So it's worth a follow. And thanks for watching.